he had a tryout of different, I think they had horses and they had dogs, and they had a tryout to see who was going to be the mascot. I think my Uncle Bill did that, and he tried out one of the first Smoky, and it's 1953, I think. He was the last contestant, I guess. And each time when he came out, he barked. And each time he barked, he got a lot of applause. And then he would bark louder, and he got a lot of applause. And he just, hands down, he won the contest of being Smoky.
Initially, we had Smoky 9. Charles's father had a series of surgeries. His dad, Earl Hudson, and his mother, Martha, when they became Smoky's owners, were passionate and very involved in the Smoky tradition and so forth. And Earl absolutely hated to give up Smoky 9 at that time. And when he went in the nursing home, we were fortunate enough to be able to have Smoky 9. Well, Smoky 9, as many people know, was having a lot of health issues, and we were going back and forth, commuting him back and forth to the vet school at that time. So we knew that we needed to be looking for Smoky 10. We contacted the breeder who Granddaddy Hudson had used in the past, and he was no longer breeding at that time. So we had to look for another breeder. We contacted several, we didn't share what we were looking for, that we were looking for a UT puppy, but we were fortunate to find a lady, Wendy Davis, in Shelbyville, who said yes. And so she said, yes, I have people-friendly blue tick coon dogs, and we chose the largest, laziest puppy of that litter. He just took our heart, I guess. That's the best way of putting it. Smoky 10, when we brought him home, Sam and Catherine fell in love with him. We were in love with him. He was a roly-poly little puppy.
It was cool for me because I'd always told my friends yeah, my grandfather owned Smoky, and they're like, what? And then I got to say yeah, I own Smoky, and he's my pet. I know that's not the best part, but that was pretty cool. This Smoky was definitely more of a family member, as in he's a little brother. Smoky 9 was more like a grandfather, I guess. He's like a grandfather, whereas this was like a little brother. And
this is my first year being away at college, and I was just used to doing my homework with Smoky and just laying on the couch and being around him every day, and it was so hard. I wasn't home for 2 months the first time I came home. I was just this has been horrible. It was just getting back to an old, a sibling and your parents. It was great, but it is hard.
I just walk him, and I come out and hang out with him.
Well, I'm always in charge of giving the baths to Smoky because he does not like them, so I have to be in charge of calming him for bath time, and then that always leads to playing in here, and me and Smoky like to cuddle because I force him to cuddle with me even when he doesn't like it.
When we brought Smoky home, one of the first things the breeder said, as far as they love scents and smells. And one of our biggest problems, as far as we had to be very, very careful, he would take off and wouldn't come back home. So we knew that was going to be an issue. So, and his love for the outside. So we find ways of getting him out. We've got to make sure that we've got fenced in areas. And also he comes in, he's out during the day and he enjoys it. And he comes in at night, plays with us, stays in our basement, sleeps on the couch, does homework with the kids, and so forth. But surprisingly, even though he crates bedtime, he often loves
he enjoys, he wants to be outside. And so a lot of people think, but he's a coon dog, and that's what the breeder really said. She said he loves being outside. So we try to spend as much time as we can being an outside dog.
We, the handlers, meet with Joy on a Thursday afternoon, and we sort of go over the weekend game day appearances and the plan that we have coming up, whether it be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And then we also sort of look ahead to the future weeks and sort of see if there's anything big that's coming up that we need to keep on our radar. Then Friday, we'll pick up the UT van, so that we'll have a UT vehicle to pick Smokey up in about noon or so. We leave the university and drive up to his house and pick him up, sort of talk with the family if they're available, and sort of see how they're doing, catch up, and then come back here and sort of bathe him and get him ready for the weekend ahead. John likes to take him on runs, just sort of wear him out a little bit. He's always really excited when he gets to come see us and gets to come back to the university. So it's kind of one of those things you got to kind of tire him down a little bit before he's ready to meet with people. Then on a Friday, we'll typically have 2 or 3 appearances, whether it be tailgates or pep rallies, or just sort of general appearances with the public.
2 hours and 15 minutes before kickoff, we'll go over and do the vol walk and walk down right in front of Butch and everything. Well, we go to the locker room, the cheerleading locker room, and he's got his own little couch in the back corner that we just sit on, and we'll feed him and give him water and everything. He just sits down and chills out, and sometimes he'll take a nap, and sometimes he wants to play with us. So
Smokey knows when the UT van pulls up, he knows exactly what's going to happen on those days. But he also knows when we set out what I call the suitcase, which is his bin, when it's placed outside, he knows that he's going somewhere for a UT activity. And he is so excited for those days, is he not, Charles? He is wagging his tail. He's anxious. He cannot wait to go. So for any Big Orange fans or animal lovers who are ever concerned that Smokey might be in the least bit worried about going or timid or so forth, he is not. He is always enthusiastic about going to those ball games.
The pride of the Southland Band marching crisply into formation.
To be standing there under the goalpost, and you can see the band, the pride, start forming the power tee, and as you see them lining up and start setting it up, and as soon as they start stepping out and you see it open, you turn around and you can look at Butch and you can see him, and he'll just say, let's go, let's get this. And at that moment, you just turn around and you just take off running. And it's just that experience of being able to run out and hit the top of the tee and make your right turn. And sort of as you round out the end of the tee, you look up and you can see 102,000 people all screaming and all looking at you. It's indescribable.
Smokey he just likes to sit down on the sideline and just really, sometimes I'll catch him watching the game. Sometimes he'll be looking up at the Jumbotron. So, he really likes the game day atmosphere. You can tell because he's always intent on something. He's always looking around you. He's never out there getting bored or anything. And whenever we score, he's really pulling, against his leash to, so he can take off and run down the end zone because he really loves just running up and down the end zone.
I think at home he's just like a relaxing, chill person. He's like, I'm just chilling out. But then at game days you can tell he gets excited and this is his time to shine.
I don't know, there's 2 facets to it. You come home and he's just another pet, just like everybody else's pet. I would imagine that it's kind of different than seeing your house pet running through the tee. But that's kind of what it's like for us, which is kind of cool.
When I go to those ball games, I'm as worried as if it's one of my children. When he runs out across that field, I'm always like, did he do well? I don't even want him to slip and fall because he's a family member. So we care about him and love him, and we want him to do his best.
I think that Smokey, in addition to the mascot, those 2 are the icons of the university. He is, at the end of the day, a family dog for the Hudson family, first and foremost.
I love Smokey. I've always loved animals, and he's like anybody's house pet. Like everyone is hugely attached, or most people I know are hugely attached to their dogs, and he's just like that for me. Like I can't imagine not having Smokey around, and him going on game days is just a part of his thing, but like to me he is my pet and I love him a lot.
So he would tell you he's happy dog though. I mean, he really is. He's got a good life. He's a big part of our lives.
He will always be treasured. Like I don't compare it to the love of my children per se or my spouse, but I've treasured this relationship, and we have had a huge blessing with an opportunity to enjoy Smokey.
You really get a unique bonding experience with Smokey, and it will last for years to come.
My daughter calls him Nugget, and I call him Nugget and Hammerhead sometimes when he would, and he's our Nugget and Hammerhead. So he's more to us than just a UT mascot. He's our family